Live from iRacing's virtual Red Bull ring nestled in the hills of Styria, Austria, welcome sim racing fans to round number 11 of the Apex Racing Academy official F3 Championship live on RaceSpotTV. Happy that you're all able to join us on this beautiful Friday evening wherever you're tuning in around the world on RaceSpotTV's live coverage. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside with me in the commentary booth is Ewan O'Leary, with Hugo Louise down in the virtual production trailer controlling the cameras and overlays. Well, Ewan, we have gone to many tracks on the calendar so far here in the official F3 Championship, but none quite like the Red Bull Ring. Obviously, one of the newest road courses to the iRacing plethora of tracks, so a lot of unknowns coming into tonight's event.
Yeah, there are a lot of unknowns for pretty much all of these guys because it is the first season that it will have been involved for, and it's a very unique circuit as well. One with great overtaking opportunities, though, which should make things very, very interesting for us. And of course, we've had 5 different winners in the last 5 races in this championship. Let's see if we can get 6 out of 6 here today.
And they'll go racing on a track that has become a staple of Formula One in the last handful of years with the COVID-19 pandemic. 2 Grand Prix pretty much every single year in Austria for the past 2 years. Taking a look at those season standings as we currently stand, 2 weeks left before the season ends and we go into week 13. Paulo Dreza hand and foot over everybody else in the field so far. Flavio Danta sits in second with Adrian Falcon, Ralph Benitez, and Connor Wagner rounding out that top 5. And you can see just the disparity of points. Paulo Dreza really putting in the work this season to go up to the top, and it has been great performances from Paulo Dreza when we've seen him here on the broadcast, Ellen, but even off broadcast racing during the week, he has been very consistent to get all of those points up on the board.
Yeah, very, very consistent indeed. He's actually not won here on Friday nights when we've been watching him, but clearly when we're not watching, he does quite well. And indeed when we are, as you rightly say, he's been very consistent. He's been up there in a lot of these races. Yeah, it's no surprise to see him at the top of the order. Adrian Falcon and Flavio Dantas also there. The trio are really head and shoulders above the rest in this championship. Obviously, Falcon and Dantas, the guys I just mentioned there, very, very much winning most of the races throughout this one. Falcon's got 3 wins, Dantas with 2. Yeah, Falcon's going to be, if he wins today, then he will guarantee himself as the most winningest driver, if that's a phrase, of this season.
And we will see what is going to happen today here from the Red Bull Ring as we get ready to go racing. It's Adrian Falcon at the top of the board. Right now, they won at 25.092, a very quick lap time out there on the track. But there goes Colin Chin up to the top, a 124.890. We're seeing some quick lap times starting to be put in on the second time by one driver down into the 124s. Nobody able to get down there yet. Handful of drivers still left to punch in their lap times, but other than that, everybody is well and in. We're going to see what's going to happen now as the last remaining drivers will come across the start-finish line. Victor Barris still yet to put in his second lap. Jerome Lamy putting in his second lap now. Not going to be an improvement. Here comes Victor Barris out of the final corner. Goes a little bit wide off of that curb. If it's not an off track, that is open to run. A 125.706. Not going to be an improvement in position, but it will be an improvement in time. Sergio Set Kamara also looking to come across the line. One of the professional racers joining us here tonight. 20th place currently on the board. He's going to go way wide. That might have been a little bit too wide there, Evan.
Yeah, it could have been. Let's wait and see. He does a 25.4 in terms of his lap time, and he does jump up to 10th. So, somewhat surprisingly, that lap time is going to count. And we saw the way he was cutting his way through the field last week at Imola. And I just pondered the thought, what if he'd have qualified better? Well, he has qualified better today. We'll see what he can do in the race.
And that is going to be everybody off and across as we'll get ready to go racing here from the Red Bull Ring. And as we get ready to go racing, we'll step aside for a moment here on RaceSpotTV. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it'll be the starting grid and green lights will go on from iRacing's virtual Red Bull Ring. You're watching the Apex Racing Academy official F3 Championship live on RaceSpotTV. The grid is set. 25 drivers getting ready to take the green flag from the virtual Red Bull Ring. Let's take a look at the starting grid for today's race. Colin Chin is going to start on the pole with Adrian Falcon to his outside on the first row. Ricardo Bachelli is going to start into the inside of row 2 and 3rd. Gabriel Bortoletto in 4th with Will Redford and Adria Fusini rounding out the top 6 spots. Flavio Dantas, Felipe Dantas starting on that 4th row with Ralph Benitez and Sergio Set Kamara rounding out the top 10 drivers. Bart Dahlman alongside Paulo Dreta, the current points leader, in 12th. Victor Barris 13th. Mitchell Green 14th. Samuel Hermer is going to round out the top 15. Familiar name here in the F3 Championship. Victor Balea in 16th. Benjamin Barito in 17th with Dario Agnello sitting there in 18th. And rounding out the 23 drivers who took a time in qualifying, it's Felipe Pascol, Jerome Lamy, Jose Copland, Alexander Peregrina, and Thiago Spencer in 23rd. Then the last 2 drivers, Nathan Wade and Ben Cullen. Once again, Ben Cullen is going to try and fight his way from the back. No qualifying time put in, but the last handful of times we've seen him attempt that, he actually did finish really well up in the top spots of the running order. So we'll see how Ben Cullen is going to do here today from the Red Bull Ring. Field taking to the grid as we get ready to send them for the second to last time this season. One more round remains, week number 12 here on the iRacing service for the Apex Racing Academy official F3 Championship. We're ready to go racing from one of Formula One's most exciting racetracks. Seen a lot of great racing here in the real world. We're about to see some in the virtual world. The lights come up and they will go green. We are racing from the Red Bull Ring. It's a good start from Chin already at the front of the field. They're going to go side by side, 3 wide, a little bit further back. Chin's going to get the early lead. Falcon's going to settle into P2. Borkelli in 3rd. Bortoletto 4th with Will Redford rounding out the top 5 as they race down the straightaway for the first time. Still beating and banging towards the back, dicing for positions, but as they race down into turn 3, it's all Colin Chin at the front.
That was very well behaved by everybody into turn 1. We'll see if it's the same into 3, because that's where the pinch point can come. But at the front of the field, it's very clean. Towards the back, not so much.
Cars getting into each other in turn 3. Hermer involved, Barito involved, Dahlman involved, Agnello involved, and more all involved on that straightaway coming off of turn 3. But as they continue to race through, it's still Chin out in front with a comfortable lead over Adrian Falcon. And you can see all over the back wing of Bortoletto is Will Redford for that 4th spot. Dreta and Barris gonna go battling into the corner. That'll be Dreta taking the spot. Dreta's gonna go wide. Here comes Barris right back for P11, and he is going to take it as they work their way through sector 3. Dreta trying to hold on now to P12. He's back to where he started. looking to gain more spots as Barris gained 2 off the start. Thiago Spencer, the biggest mover on the first lap, up 8 spots from where he started.
Yeah, I mean, if you start down the back of the field and you can avoid an incident like what we've just seen there, then you can almost by default make up a load of positions, but that's taking nothing away from Thiago Spencer. It is a feat in itself to make your way through the field when it's that stacked up and it's that dangerous, as we're seeing a bit of a dangerous moment here. And in the background, somebody going for a spin out turn 1.
Victor Barris goes for a spin, and we do have to mention Thiago Spencer just pulling into the pit lane as well, possibly some damage to that car. He's pulled it in and off the track, but Victor Barris getting up onto the curb a little bit too much off of turn number 1, slides it into the grass. Didn't hit the guardrail, so he is still good to continue on the racetrack down in P20. Battle for third, Bortoletto gonna hold on to it. He's trying to defend on Will Redford, who was looking to the outside. Now joining this fight is Ricardo Bachelli in the 6. We go on board with him. As you can see, the number 11 machine of Will Redford kicking up a bit of dirt off of the grass, but as they race through Sector 2, Bortoletto trying to defend that spot away from Redford. They dive it into the corner. They'll stay single file as they work their way back to the front straightaway.
Yeah, we're starting to see a big characteristic of this circuit now, which is on the straights, things starting to concertina up together, and it can stay together for a very long time around this circuit. Because of the slipstream, you can be quite a bit slower than the car in front, but still stay in touch. Obviously, you can't be woefully slow, but none of these guys really are, so you can really stay in touch well, not very easily, but quite easily for some of these guys. So let's see how long things stay together. Oh, is in the background, somebody hard into the barriers there.
That's Sergio Secamora, and he's going to make contact with Ralph Benitez in the 5. That was Secamora that went spinning on the front straightaway. It looks like some damage for another car. Oh, there's the contact. He pulled out just a little bit too late. And then there's the contact with Ralph Benitez, who is already committed to the corner. And that sent 2 cars right on off, and Set Kamara is going to finish this race from the pit lane. He had such a good run at Imola 1 week ago. Not how he wanted to return to the F3 series here in Red Bull Ring.
No, absolutely not. It's a real shame, really, and it was just so close between those guys. Got tipped into the wall, and then the contact with Benitez really wasn't necessary. But we'll have a look at the stuff at the back of the grid here, because we're 4 wide. This is lap 1, and at 4 wide, I think the car we're following spun on its own, but behind that, absolute mess. At least 4 cars involved. You can be sure guys who got through were definitely damaged as well, so it was just a bit of a messy start. I have to say, a little bit expected. It's a real pinch point, turn 3, and so you've got to be very careful on that one. Oh dear.
That is contact between Felipe Pascal. Actually, it's Will Redford and Ricardo Bachelli that made contact. They dove it into that corner, went spinning off of each other. Felipe Pascal had issues a couple of laps ago. He's currently scored in the pit lane. But what drama for that 10th spot now. Redford and Bachelli making contact into the final corner. I think we're starting to see, Owen, just like you mentioned, the characteristics of this racetrack starting to come out. I think one of those is it being so difficult to get to the inside. Oh, you can see, and the runoff area is coming into play too. They were trying to come back onto the racetrack, commit to the corner, and there was a car already there.
Yeah, absolutely. The last corner is really not a place where you often see moves being made, and that's exactly the reason why not many people try it either, because it can just end in disaster so easily. When you're both running inside the top 5 in the first quarter of a race like this, you really don't want to be sticking your nose in there like that in such a 50-50 move. And yeah, it's seen them both way down the order. Bachelli now 11th position, and he's actually just got himself back inside the top 10, but still, that is not where he wants to be. As around goes Jerome Lamy, I believe.
That is the 18, Jerome Lamy, spun into the gravel runoff off of, I believe, turn 7 there. Here's the replay for the 18. Oh, and a contact from the car behind, and that is all it wrote, and spinning off into the gravel. No damage for Lamy, as Adrian Falcon going to set the fastest lap from P2. Paulo Drayton to the inside. Andrea Fusini on the outside line, and that is going to be another spot gained for Paulo Drayton. Now up 6 spots from where he started, currently running in 6th. update on what seems to be chat room's favorite, Ben Cullen, up to P16, 9 spots from where he started all the way back at the tail end of the field in P25. So another good day for Ben Cullen starting to work up here as a pass being made. Ricardo Bekele on Victor Balea for P9.
Yeah, good move there once again. He's making his way through the field quite nicely, actually, is Bekele. Not quite on the back of Redford again, but let's hope that things are cleaner this time around. Victor Balea giving it another go into 4, but no way through for him, really. There's still 3 leaders, by the way, just separated by a second. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier on. Things are going to stay together at the front for a little while until somebody really puts the hammer down, but I'm sort of hoping for kind of a dash at the last few laps between those 3. You know, they might just decide to stay where they are for the moment, pull away from the rest of the field and then go for it in the final few laps. We'll see a real grandstand finale between them. That's a long way in the future still, but that's what I'm hoping for, certainly.
And the race distance that we have here, only 20 laps, which is not a lot when you consider the Red Bull Ring. And the lap times we're running here, a 1:24.942, for example, just put up by Adrian Falcon. But the Formula One cars can run this track in north of 1 minute. I mean, around 105, 106. That seems to be the average lap times at this course. So it is a very, very short road course, all things considered. So we're gonna see that sense of urgency start to build, Owen, because we already have 15 laps to go, 5 laps put behind us. They're gonna run out of time relatively quickly if they don't get some moving right now, if they want to gain more spots on the racetrack.
Yeah, they are going to have to be a little bit careful of that, I think it's fair to say. But, you know, we've seen that all season, really, because of the races being under or around or just under half an hour in length. There really isn't much time to wait around at all at any circuit, no matter how hard it is to overtake. So it's just all-out action from start to finish. That's what we like about this championship, and that's what it often delivers for us. So it's nothing that these guys won't be used to.
Taking a look at the battle further back, this is still Andrea Fusini. Here comes Ricardo Bekele right on around, and that is going to be an easy pass for the number 6 up to P8, or back up to P8, I should say. They started up in 3rd here in this race from the Red Bull Ring, looking to get back to that point as Colin Shin from the lead will set a new fastest lap over his teammate Adrian Falcon, who sits right behind him in P2. Gabriel Bortoleto falling back a little bit from P3, but those top 2 spots are still closing in on each other. There's the gap that you can see it as they race down the back straightaway. Chin gonna go on a bit of a defensive, but it looks like when either Adrian's buying his time, and as I say that, he's gonna make a dive to the inside, battle for the lead, and it's gonna be Adrian Falcon taking it over. I thought he would be buying his time, waiting for a little bit later on in this race. I think he was just waiting for an easy overtake opportunity, and there it was, basically gifted to Adrian Falcon off that straightaway.
Well, yeah, it's not going to get much easier than that. Chin just made a mistake through turn 3, got a little bit oversteery on the entry to that corner, and the exit wasn't very good, which is absolutely detrimental to a lap time around here. And trying to defend a position, you need good traction out of these corners, because more often than not, there's a straight coming right after it, so you've got to get a good exit. Chin didn't manage it on that occasion, and so Falcon wasn't going to pass up that opportunity, because that might be the easiest one he gets all day.
Back down the front straight away goes Adrian Falcon. We'll see the lap time. It's not going to best his best lap of the race, and it's not going to best the new best set by Colin Shin. A 124.8 flat is the current fastest time of the race, and we'll continue to see it updated. Purple on the timing tower for the driver with the fastest time, and you'll also see it on the top of your screen as well as a new fastest lap is set, but it still belongs to Colin Shin. Top 5 is currently Falcon, Shin, Bortoleto, then Flavio Dantas, and now Paulo Dreta, who just made a move on Felipe Dantas going through turn 3. They'll stay side by side as they run down the straightaway. Dantas trying to hold on to P5. Here comes Dreta looking for the spot as Redford and Bekele are going to go battling in the background.
Yeah, it's for part 2 of their battle, but getting shoved out wide there. Dantas has been demoted from 5th position. He's now down to 6th. Redford's holding on against Bocelli, although not by much at the moment. He's got the outside line for the next couple of left-handers, which is not where you want to be. And so Bocelli slots his way through on this one. He's shown some good pace here as Bocelli, because he chased down Will Redford and now he is through. Might be able to run away from him, but thankfully on this occasion it was a lot cleaner than their last battle about this time 3 laps ago.
They're on board as they race their way down the side straightaway, back onto the front stretch of 124.741. Now going to be set by your second place runner, Colin Shin. Back up the hill they go as you're on board with Riccardo Bocelli, or Will Redford, I should say. He goes a little bit wide off of the first corner, trying to chase down with Bocelli, who you're now on board with, looking out back of that Apex Racing Academy F3 car. Up the hill to turn 3. Redford able to put a little bit of a nose in there on Bocelli, but not going to be enough as we jump back to the battle. Balea versus Fusini. It'll be Balea in 9th, Fusini in 10th as they run down the straightaway.
Yeah, that looked like Fusini was just giving that one up, really. He seemed to brake very early, and Victor Balea was much later on the brakes. He managed to get through quite easily there for 9th position. So they've got Kaplan for company, and a number of others actually not too far behind. Probably all the way down to Jerome Lamy you could include. About 5 seconds back, it could be looking over his shoulder to see behind him. So yeah, let's wait and see. But these midfield battles certainly starting to hot up. Let's see how. Well, I'm hoping this is not a replay of an incident, but it could well be. Oh yeah, it is. Nathan Wade getting a little bit too wide out on the curb there, and these orange sausage curbs that are parallel to the circuit are the best way to deal with track limits, in my opinion, of any solution there is. But I'm afraid they're not particularly great for open wheel cars when you start straddling them.
And you could see around 4 cars missing him by inches after he spun off of turn 3. Luckily, nobody else with damage off of that incident. That was the 13 of Nathan Wade, who went around off of that corner. Running their way up the hills, taking another look at the battle between Paulo Dreta, currently sitting in 5th, Felipe Dantas in 6th, Bocelli and Redford at the tail end of this battle. Balea has fallen back to P9, a couple of seconds off of this group. But these 4 cars will race down the straightaway. Still leading this group will be Dreta. Last time by, Dantas a little bit faster than Dreta. Bocelli a little bit faster than everybody in this group. Redford, one of the slowest, but the slowest, was Paulo Dreta, who currently leads this group with Dantas breathing down his neck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting really, really kind of tense in this group right now. You'd think that Dreta, having got through on Dantas, he might be able to run away here, but not really been able to. Bocelli and Redford have been able to hold on as well, so this battle's getting more exciting by the minute, really. And it looks like Bocelli's got the pace, quite possibly, to pass them both and maybe chase the guys up behind. Let's not forget he was battling over 4th position with Redford before that accident, so he's almost back to where he started here.
And we talk about these drivers running close together, and you talked about how Dreta wasn't able to pull away. Normally, that's what it takes. It takes a little bit of clean air, and then you're able to get away from the car behind you. But we're seeing here more than really any other track, as Dantas makes a dive to the bottom. It's going to be successful, maybe not. Staying on that outside line is going to be Paulo Dreta trying to hold on to the spot. Dantas is going to have it for the moment in the 4. They might wheel bang down the straightaway. Dreta is going to hold on to P5 for the moment. Can he keep it around the outside? Not going to be successful. Dantas going to take the spot. Bocelli now going to fight Dreta for the 6th spot, and they'll settle out back to single file. Dantas holds the spot. Bocelli's going to gain one on Dreta for 6th.
Very nice opportunistic driving there by Bocelli, but Dreta really didn't need to give Dantas that much space. He gave him good 2 or 3 car whips there, and he really could have squeezed him a little bit more. I appreciate that a little bit of insurance policy, maybe leaving the guy on the inside, but he went very, very wide indeed, both at 3 and 4, so that was a little bit confusing, but it allowed the open door for Bocelli to just walk through nice and easily, really, and in the end, he wasn't really challenged to get up into 6th place. Dantas, though, doesn't look like he's going to let him go quite as easily.
They race back up the hill. Can Bekele do anything to try and punch his way into the top 5? He runs in the slipstream of Felipe Dantas. He steps out. He's going to step out to the left side. That's going to be the outside line going through this right-hander. He had an advantage for the moment, but it all goes away as they make the apex of the corner, and Dantas going to hold on to 5th, goes on the defense, takes him all the way down to the infield grass, and now going to step out once again to the outside. It's going to be Ricardo Bekele looking for the spot. They dive into the corner. They're still side by side. A little bit of contact. Bekele's going to get loose. Here comes Draitza now to look for 6th place, and as they race their way back through the corner, Redford catches back up with this group. No damage visible to Ricardo Bekele, but almost getting spun around in that corner. Shades of Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon.
Yeah, just a little bit, and the reason he was pushed out, well, he was squeezed out wide, but then it nearly allowed Draitza to get through his. Bekele again, he clearly wants to go for it in these final 2 corners. You don't often do it, but Bekele wants to, and the cutback from Dantas. Maybe he's going to get through again, and he does. Bekele goes wide. Here comes Draitza. Here comes Redford as well, 3 wide across the line.
Redford in the middle, Draitza on the bottom, Bekele on the outside line. Where is Dantas gonna block? Which lanes is Felipe Dantas gonna choose to block? Getting slid off the track is Paulo Draitza. He goes into the grass. You're on board with Bekele as he gets stuck in the middle line. Redford on the outside, Dantas on the inside. They go back into turn number 3. Who's gonna give way? On the inside, it's Dantas. Is he gonna push Redford out? No, he's not. He's gonna turn inside, trying to keep that spot, but it's not going to work. Redford to 5th. Dantas now to 6th. Draitza trying to hold on to P7. Here comes Bekele now, looking on the outside line. Back to the inside goes Dantas for 5th. It's going to work, but the crossover move from Redford's going to work even better. Redford's going to keep 5th. Dantas in 6th. Draitza now to the outside to look for the spot, and Bekele's trying to find any way possible to join this fight.
That is unbelievable driving from Will Redford to get through on these 3 cars with barely losing any time at all. That was so efficient from Redford. You see the way Bekele has had to go through this. It's been really long task to get through on these guys, and it's still going on now. But Redford just did it in one fell swoop, got through nice and easily. He's done the move at the penultimate corner again, Bekele, this time more successfully, because this time last lap they were going 3 wide across the line. It was spectacular racing. But Will Redford, with one of the overtakes of the season, a triple overtake. So efficient at the overtaking, and brilliant driving from all 4 of them, to be fair, to keep things so clean, and just fantastic racing between them.
They have 7 laps to go now. We go into lap number 14. Checkered flag will fall at the conclusion of lap number 20. They've spread out a little bit, albeit not that much. About 4/10 on average, separating each of these drivers now as they'll race back down the back straightaway. Update a little bit further up. Falcon able to pull away with the lead. It's Chin and Bortoleto now going battling for P2. No positions being swapped there. Flavio Dantas holding on to P4, and we're looking at the battle between Redford, Draitza, Bekele, and Felipe Dantas from 5th down to P8. And as they work their way through Sector 2, looking for 5th is Draitza, not going to be close enough to make any moves. And the next major overtaking opportunity, Owen, it looks like on this track, is going to be turn number 3. Turn 1 has been a bit of a wild card overtaking spot. Not the best place, but you can make an overtake work there. And as we go side by side, battle for 2nd on the right side, battle for 5th on the left side. Turn 1 is a bit of a last resort overtaking opportunity. Turn 3 and turn 5 seem to be the best on this racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely, and Bortoleto might use it here because Chin's just lost a second on this last lap to Adrian Falcon. He's clearly made a mistake somewhere, so Bortoleto's going to go to the inside now and make this move stick by the looks of things. Chin gets squeezed, and he has to go across the curb, bit of contact. A bit of an aggressive move, but clearly Gabriel Bortoleto wants to win his 2nd race in 2 weeks.
They work their way back into turn number 4, overtake in turn 3, and Bekele's gonna get a little bit of a shot from Paulo Dreta with the side pod. Dreta's gonna take over P6, Bekele down to 7th. Here comes Felipe Dantas in the 4, now stepping out to the outside goes Dreta, side by side into turn 4, but covering the spot is Redford. He'll shut the door. They'll go single file once again through turn 5. Dreta's gonna step out, a last minute overtake opportunity. To the inside, and he's gonna overcook it to the outside. Almost off track goes Dreta. He loses a ton of time. Dantas to the inside of Bekele as they work their way through turn 7, and they'll come back to the front straightaway. Redford trying to pull away. Dreta gonna have to rebound now from 8th.
There he is. That was a really, really close moment there to an absolute catastrophe. He was trying to go for it through the left-hander there and just got the rear end a little bit away from him and did a good job to save it, to be fair to him, but really halted everybody behind. Just look at that. Goodness me. It could have been a lot worse. He could have clattered into Redford and it would have been an absolute disaster. So, yeah, fair play to him for keeping things on the straight and narrow, but goodness me, we've seen a lot of action in these last few moments between these 4, and it's still going on for 2nd as well.
There you can see the battle for 2nd, right side of your screen. Bortoleto able to barely get by Colin Chin, but as they dive back into 4, Chin's gonna take that spot back, but classic over-under maneuver from Gabriel Bortoleto, now on the outside line. Chin's gonna be on the defense, and he is gonna keep that spot, but he goes a little bit wide. Bortoleto's still gonna be on that back wing. As we take a look, battle for 2nd, right side of your screen. The battle further back. They're side by side now for P6. And we go full screen on that battle for 6 now. Bekele's going to hold on to P6 for the moment. Dantas going to have to try and recover from P7. Here comes Paulo Dreta. We know he was not keen of that mistake that he made 1 lap ago. He's going to look for 7th once again on Dantas as the leader, Adrian Falcon, goes up the hill to turn 1. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, and we almost don't want this race to end because it's been absolutely fantastic, especially this battle for 5th position between Redford, Bekele, Dantas and also Dreta. Victor Balea is watching on longingly from about 4 seconds behind, trying to get involved, and he is catching pretty much every lap because these lunatics are going side by side with each other, but he can't quite get involved. It's just been fantastic racing between them, and you somewhat wonder how they've kept things clean. Let's hope they do for the end of the race because it has just been enthralling action from start to finish in this battle.
They are still looking to keep things clean as Dantas gonna defend on the inside. Dreta down the straightaway was able to get a bit of a peek into P7, not able to complete that maneuver. As the battle for 2nd continues, Chin's still going to hold on to it, but Bortoleto's getting impatient. He's going to dive to the bottom. He's going to get his nose in there in the battle, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to have to settle for P3 for the moment, still trying to find any possible way for 2nd. Look at the defense coming out from Colin Shin in the 9 machine, almost making contact as they'll come into the final corner. Take 3 laps to go at the line. Bortoleto trying all he can. The desperation coming out from the number 16 machine, but Shin's gonna hold on to P2 as they run up the hill.
Yeah, neither of these two have designs on winning this race anymore. They just want to beat each other at this point because they realise it's gone out the window and they can fight as hard as possible for 2nd place. Let's see if Bortoleto's going to give it another go. Into 3, you can be sure that he is going to. Tries to squeeze Chin onto the tight line as much as he possibly can, but Chin's having none of it. He defends well on that occasion, but he's going to have to do it all over again in a few seconds.
Back down the back straightaway they go as they continue to fight now side by side. You can see on the left side of your screen more battling. That's Redford and Bekele as Shin defends to the inside in turn 4 in the battle for 2nd. Bortoleto goes for the crossover, but he's going to be on the outside line now for the next corner. He's not going to be able to complete the pass for 2nd, so Shin's going to hold on to that spot for the moment. He goes a little bit wide, able to keep 2nd place right now. Over to the battle between Redford and Bekele. Here comes Redford on the outside. Is he going to have enough? Yes, he does. He closes the door on Bekele. Bekele as they work their way through the corner. What a move from the 11 of Will Redford, but Bekele's not done. He's gonna send it back to the inside. Maybe a little bit of door banging from these two, but Bekele wants the spot. It's not gonna be enough. Redford holds on to P5. Bekele's gonna have to now try and regroup and go for another pass. 2 to go at the line, a 1:24.251 just set by the race leader.
And also Dantas and Drake are right on the back of these guys again, so it's no longer a couple of pairs. It is now a 4-car battle here once again, and you can be sure it's going to stay that way for the final 2 laps of this race to see who's going to be 5th in this one. And yeah, who's going to be 8th, which is going to be a little bit disappointed after all this for one of these guys. But yeah, let's see how these battles continue on. It's been fantastic racing, but Chili's overtaking manoeuvres as well. Very unorthodox, but sometimes very effective as well.
You see right side of your screen, battle for second. Bortoletto goes back to the outside. Chin still able to defend well on that bottom line. No crossover this time from Bortoletto. Is he going to try and go to the inside? No, he does not. He'll stay to the outside of Chin as they run through the left-hander. Now, left side of your screen, battle between Bekele and Dantas, or Bekele and Redford, I should say. Redford holding on to P5. Bekele going to go for the crossover as Felipe Dantas and Paulo Dreta watching the wings between this battle for 5th. They go through the left-hander now. Redford still able to hold on to it. Nothing that Bekele can do for the moment. They'll stay single file in that group of 4. But as Falcon comes across the start-finish line, the white flag is out. One final time around the Red Bull ring. We're going to see both of these battles reach a crescendo as back to the outside goes Bekele. Not able to do anything. Redford shuts the door.
Just for the moment, but how long is that door going to stay shut for? Because Bekele looks like he wants to kick it down at the moment, and he probably will do. He's going to give it another go into turn 1, maybe. Redford was trying to anticipate it, but turn 3 is where it's all going to happen here once again. Chin's defending very, very well, by the way. He's putting the car in all the right places, although he's just made a little bit of a mistake. He let Bortoletto on the inside, and now he's in trouble.
Here comes Bortoletto. He's going to have the inside advantage as they go through the right-hander at turn 4. Into the braking zone they go. Battle for second, right side of your screen. Bortoletto's going to shut out Chin. He's going to get that spot away for P2. Is he going to keep it, though? What can Chin do in the final handful of corners on this racetrack? They're side by side now. Bekele on the outside. Redford on the inside. They touch wheels. Bekele gets sent wide. Dantas is going to make that move for 6. Bekele now down to P7. The battle for second fizzles out, but the battle for 7th is on as Dantas now going to have Bekele on his inside. They are side by side racing for 6. Bekele's going to take the spot. Falcon's going to take the win. And at the line, Bortoletto's going to take P2. Chin comes home P3. Flavio Dantas in 4th. And Will Redford trying to come home in 5th as we go on board with Paulo Dreta. The battle for 6. Bekele's going to shut the door on Felipe Dantas at the line. Final effort from each of these drivers, and taking over P6 will be Bekele. Taking over P7, Felipe Dantas, and Paulo Dreta is going to come home in 8th after a wild race from the virtual Red Bull ring.
Somewhat remarkably, those 4 didn't actually change positions for the last few laps, but it was wonderfully entertaining nevertheless. And Bortoletto right at the very end took advantage of that mistake from Chin to get second. Falcon was on his own for almost the entire time, getting his 4th race win of the season, and yeah, thoroughly deserved one as well. But what a great race that was. The Red Bull Ring always produces fantastic racing, and it's especially open wheel cars. F3 cars are just perfect for this kind of circuit, and it's absolutely shown us why here today. In my opinion, hands down the best race of the season so far. We've still got one to go at Silverstone, but that will be very, very difficult to top.
Everybody now across the line to take the checkered flag, and we'll take a look at your full finishing results here from the virtual Red Bull ring. It's Adrian Falcon coming home with the win, and you can see the gap in between Bortoletto and Chin at the line. A last lap pass from the 16 to come home in 2nd, but Colin Chin still able to grab a podium finish in 3rd. Flavio Dantas will come home in 4th. Will Redford P5 with Ricardo Bekele, Felipe Dantas, Paulo Dreta, Victor Bolea, and Mitchell Green rounding out the top 10. Down the rest of the order, Adria Fusini comes home in 11th, Bart Dahlman in 12th, Victor Barris 13th, Alexander Peregrina 14th, with Ben Cullen reaching up to 15th, 10 spots gained on the day for him. Thiago Spencer comes home in 16th, Nathan Wade 17th, Dario Agnello in 18th, with Ralph Benitez and Jose Copland rounding out the top 20, and Jerome Lamy, Samuel Hermer, Felipe Pascol, Sergio Set Camara, and Benjamin Baratau rounding out the 25 drivers who took the green flag here from the virtual Red Bull Ring. And like you mentioned, the most exciting race of the season. I definitely do not disagree with you, but we were expecting a bit of unknowns, and I think we saw in the beginning portion of this race a bit more of argy-bargy, a bit more contact, a bit more incidents than we were expecting or hoping. But towards the end of that race, everybody started going all out for the win, and for the most part, except for a bit of side pod hitting and a bit of wheel hitting there on the last lap, it was relatively clean all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, the first few laps were really quite messy in some parts, but after that it really did clean up very nicely, and we can be kind of glad that Bocelli and Redford actually did clash, because it did create that four-car battle. Otherwise we would have had a load of pairs going out there, but that's just the way the race turned out in the end, and it was absolutely fantastic in the end. Thoroughly enjoyable. I always enjoy Silverstone as well as the circuit, especially for this kind of car, so hopefully that delivers on the same level.
Well, we hope to see you 1 week's time from virtual Silverstone, the final round of the Apex Racing Academy official F3 Championship for the 2021 Season 3 iRacing schedule. For Hugo Louise down in the virtual production trailer, for Ellen O'Leary in the booth with myself, Joshua Lee, we thank you so much for tuning into tonight's race, and we thank you for joining us from the virtual Red Bull Ring for round number 11, and we will see you in 1 week's time for round number 12 of the Apex Racing Academy official F3 Championship.